communities last. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
This is Chuck Barrett inviting you to listen to me call the Hogs on 1037 The Buzz. KABZ Little Rock.
The Razorbacks are coming at ya.
Arkansas, an outdoor paradise. People travel hundreds of miles to enjoy what, well, some of us take for granted. We aren't called the natural state without reason. With an abundance of rivers, lakes, and streams loaded with adventure. Scenic views that will take your breath away. Biking trails and back roads just begging to be discovered. Sit back and relax as Ray Tucker and longtime journalist Brian Hendricks explore our magnificent state with this week's edition of Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Brought to you by Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
If you're wanting warmer weather, you got it, baby. You got it. Wow, a little hot there today. I was down at Hattiesburg, Mississippi for the regional that Little Rock won, and moving on to super regionals. And so anyway, Stuart Smith's with us here tonight, Morgan Metter with Quail Forever, Big Rock chapter. What I'd like to do, and you all have been on the show, you all have events from time to time. You all are one of my favorite organizations, I will say that. And people can join your organization. What I'd like to do is start out with just a little history lesson here as to what you all are about and why you formed this organization.
All right. Well, we're going to tag team this a little bit because she's a little bit more on the technical side. But I can tell you, Quail Forever started in 2005. So we had just finished our 20th year anniversary, and we're a sister organization of Pheasants Forever, and which started in 1982. And we're both grassroots organizations that we raise money to improve habitat, and all our money we raise stays in the state that the chapter's in, for us, Arkansas. So you can get a little more technical about our habitat mission and everything.
Let me do this very quick. Brian, what happened to the quail?
Well, I shot them all, right? No. Habitat loss is the main thing. You know, we've seen, landscape-wide changes in the way, farms are managed now. We don't have the 5 and 10 and 20 acre parcels anymore with the hedgerows and the fence rows and the feathered, just things that quail like. We have now large ranches. We have row crops that are plowed up, and there's no cover from ditch to ditch, fence to fence, and there's just really not any place for quail to live in the numbers that they used to. Now, we say that, and we kind of give the impression that they're threatened or endangered. They're not, but they're not nearly in the numbers that they once were.
Yeah,
no. Go ahead.
They are in steep decline, like a lot of our other grassland birds or wildlife. And a lot of the issues that, you just mentioned are, a big threat to, them and their decline, right? But another big thing is mismanagement of our forests, fire suppression. So prescribed fire was taken off the landscape, fire in general, especially for a lot of the habitats that quail live in, right? They're known as the fire bird. And fire was taken off the landscape a lot across the Southeast in general.
When did Quail Forever? Because there was Quail Unlimited for a while, and that up and went. Now, how long has this organization been in existence?
Since 2005.
2005, and
we are no affiliation with Quail Unlimited.
Yeah, I know that. They came and went, and it was too bad, But y'all have done it. Apparently learned from their mistakes, and y'all have been doing it right. You have how many chapters in Arkansas now?
We have 10.
That's impressive.
Oh,
Yes, it is.
got me. I was fixing to say 8. Thank you, Morgan.
Yeah, we have 10.
Where are they?
They're all across the state, but the local one here, Big Rock chapter, of course, in Pulaski County. But we have some up in northwest Arkansas. We have some in southern Arkansas. We have some in the Delta and more north central Arkansas. So they're scattered around the state. So anyone wants to join a chapter, there's one out there for you.
And if you want information on where to join a chapter, you can contact myself, or you can go on Facebook or go to www.quailforever.org, and you can find a chapter that way.
So the Big Rock came from the Big Rock on 630. Is that where the name came from? No.
That was a previous leadership in our chapter that came up with that name, and that's kind of a sore subject with me.
Okay,
but
I'm sorry.
but it's all good.
He wants it called Hattiesburg North.
Hey, don't grab your hat and run out the door, okay?
No. It's all good. I've learned to embrace Big Rock. That's who we are. So, but yeah, this current version of Big Rock did not come up with the name. It's just what they did, and we've stuck with it.
I will say this. You made mention you went to the University of Southern Mississippi.
Yes.
I was down there for 3 days. I have never been treated as nicely any place in my life in all the years in sports I've been.
That is wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed your time at the Pete. It can be a very special place. It wasn't very special to us, but hey, hats off to Coach Curry and his Trojans. They did a wonderful job, and I hope they continue on.
To answer your question, Ray, right around Christmas of 1993, I went quail hunting up around Cave Springs with a couple of guys named Pinalto, and we were hunting areas now that I'm sure are just wall-to-wall houses now, but they were starting to build up there, and we got into quail all morning long. It was fantastic. I've still got the pictures of it, dogs on point, birds flushing everywhere, just classic quail hunting pictures, except in the background you see modern homes going up. Well, that was all coming in. So I doubt that any of that is even there anymore. That's what happened to the quail.
Growing up in Helena, West Helena, I could go less than a half a mile from my home, which at the time was out in the country and a lot of field, and we'd go out there just for the fun of running and flush up quail, which was a great feeling. I lived on the Little River back in the early 2000s, and one of the great thrills in the morning was going out for a walk, and quail were everywhere.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, people started building houses, and they were all gone.
Everybody wanted a slice of the country life, but, they don't realize that when they get that slice, they're damaging habitat around. I grew up in South Mississippi, and, we had 78 acres that I lived on, and there was quail all over that field and the woods, and, yeah, they would scare me a lot.
So the fundraising on a national level going well?
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, yes, sir. We always want to do better at our local level, so we can put more habitat and money toward mission and habitat. We actually have an event coming up that we wanted to talk about, our Pollinator Palooza. This is our 5th year?
5th year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Spell that real quick.
Okay, thank you. I told you I'm from Mississippi.
And I'm from Arkansas, that's why I asked you.
There's no S's in either one of those words.
Yeah, you're right.
And we will get to Pollinator Palooza in our next segment, but that's an important thing because what people don't probably realize a lot of times is the interconnectivity between quail, which is something that we want and something that we can kind of visualize, and all the other things that are kind of in the lower part of that food chain. And we'll get into that and explain how important that is. But from 8 chapters to 10, and do you see even further growth coming along the horizon?
Yeah, we do. Morgan's boss, Ryan Parker, is doing a wonderful job. He's our state coordinator.
Good guy.
Yeah, he's super good guy, and he has developed a what is it? A 6-pillar.
6-pillar. We have a
pillar.
Yeah,
pillar.
Yeah, the southern accent. Pillar.
Right.
We have like
explain it.
Yeah, we have like a public-facing strategic plan of where we are and where we're wanting to go in the state of Arkansas with Quail Forever. And so a lot of that is looking at, okay, what differences have we made on the landscape now, and how do we want to improve upon that in the state? And so we have 7 pillars within this document that we're calling the Arkansas Roots to Wings Initiative. And we're trying to get, the public really bought into this idea of, through outreach, through our private lands folks. So we have farm biologists across the state that are helping private landowners, through partnerships, through our public land staff, because now we have public land staff as well that help us with quail habitat.
All right, hold that thought. We'll be back with more Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors coming to you live from here in our studios here at 103.7 The Buzz.
Gwatney Buick GMC is ready to knock sales out of the park in May with the Pennies Playoff Sales Event. And the competition's crying foul because this month Gwatney's pricing is not factory authorized. Coming in with a heavy hitter, it's the 2026 Sierra 1500 at just 2.9% for 72 months and no payments until Labor Day. Plus, the bases are loaded with Buicks, Encore, Envista, Envision, and Enclave, all available at just 0.9%. Take a swing at GMC Terrain at just $279 per month. Or slide into home plate in a 2026 GMC Canyon two-wheel drive elevation at just $249 per month. Call 501-945-4444. It's the Pennies Playoff Sales Event at Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. All offers with approved credit. Terrain and Canyon are low mileage leases. See dealer for details.
Take it from Arkansas greats Joe Klein and Pat Bradley.
The big natural sports apps are now in Arkansas, taking over Oaklawn and Bentley, which are no longer local,
making Bet Saracen the only real local app.
Still Arkansans' fan fave.
Plus, Bet Saracen is still the official sports betting app of many of the state's colleges and universities.
Bet Saracen, built by Arkansans for Arkansans.
Bet with Arkansans. Bet with Bet Saracen.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
This is the Pigskin Preacher, bringing you the word. The recent death of Ted Turner reminds us of the outsized influence the mouth of the South had on America and the world. Turner essentially invented 24-hour news, owned the Atlanta Braves and Hawks, and became one of the biggest landowners and conservationists in U.S. history. He also married Jane Fonda, which inspired the late Louis Grizzard's great line, "Who introduced these two? Ho Chi Minh?" The next time you feel snowed under by the endless news loop, raise a glass to Captain Courageous. Doublebee's has 34 locations across Arkansas with friendly folks, ATMs for your convenience, and a dazzling array of delectable noshes and drinks. That's because Doublebee's is where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Doublebee's.
Have questions about retirement, investments, or your money? Call our financial hotline. Dial 501-381-5228 and leave a voicemail with your specific financial question, and our experts will answer it on the Get Ready for the Future show Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Get your financial questions answered by the pros. 501-381-5228. Call now. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Independent Advisor Alliance. Independent Advisor Alliance and Genwealth Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
This is Thomas Blackman with Blackman Auction. Since 1938, we've handled many different types of auctions. We sold bulldozers, excavators, farm tractors, farms, locomotives, fully custom rail cars, vehicles, Harley-Davidsons, cows, lake houses, hunting properties, pickups, heavy trucks, big trailers, plus hundreds of other random things. Honestly, if it's for sale, we probably sold it. Our knowledge and experience is priceless, much like your hard-earned assets. Since 1938, better auctions have always been Blackman Auctions.
Burroughs and Mr. Frank's is a long-standing, iconic luxury eyewear shop in the Heights. They're family-owned and operated opticians that feature high-end designer eyewear that you can't find anywhere else. Brands like Cartier, Gucci, Salt, and State Optical. Plus, they have all their lenses from the high-tech lens crafter Zeiss, who make lenses for cameras, telescopes, microscopes, and yes, glasses. These are found only at Burroughs, and they do all the fitting and lab work right in their own in-store lab. They're at 5901 R Street in the Heights, Burroughs and Frank's Optical.
All right, we're back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Damon Poole's got a little weather bulletin for us.
Yes, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 8 o'clock for Perry, Van Buren, Conway, and Faulkner counties right now. We're tracking a strong to severe thunderstorm over Twin Groves as of a minute ago, moving to the south at 25 miles per hour. That's going to affect the Conway area, Greenbrier, Valonia, Guy, Worcester, Damascus, Twin Groves, and Menifee. Now, if this storm holds together within the next hour, it will be moving toward very close to the Little Rock metro area. So I suggest everybody keep an eye on this, and if you're planning outdoor activities in the next, say, hour and a half, keep an eye to the sky and be aware of this storm. As we get more information, we'll pass it along. Again, severe thunderstorm warning until 8 o'clock, Perry, Van Buren, Conway, and Faulkner counties.
That's our man, Damon Poole.
All right, welcome back to Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. We're visiting with Stuart Smith and Morgan Metter of the Big Rock chapter of Quail Forever, and we're talking all things quail and some things related to quail. And so before we went on break, we were talking about Pollinator Palooza, the interconnectivity between all kinds of things, and take us there.
Yeah, so Pollinator Palooza, this will be the 5th annual event, and we have it at Camp Robinson SUA, but now that name has changed to Lake Conway, WMA, but it's over there by Mayflower, Conway area. And so that whole event is celebrating our native pollinators and the habitats that they depend on. And a lot of times when we're out there, we hear quail whistle, which is great for the participants, of course. But this whole event is just centered around educating folks, having folks come buy native plants. We have 2 native plant vendors that'll be on site. We're going to do field tours out there at Lake Conway WMA, so you can see the habitat and you can see it in action, hear the birds. It's a great time.
We talk about, some of the plants that are very familiar to us, of course, would be pale purple coneflower.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things
you go, Brian?
Yeah, hey man, love me some pale purple coneflower. What sort of thing can people plant that are really good that they can get, maybe even off of a roadside somewhere?
Yeah, so if you want a variety of pollinators, it's always nice to plan for having plants bloom in the spring, the summer, and the fall. And so some of our early blooming plants, for example, here in Arkansas, you have, now these are going to be some crazy names. Common names are usually the craziest. So you have foxglove beard tongue. Weird name. But it's a great.
Did you name that?
No. That would have been a name, wouldn't it, for me to come up with? But it's a great plant. I have it personally planted in my garden, and it's like covered with bumblebees, and I've even had some ruby-throated hummingbirds come and visit it. Obviously, purple coneflower, fan favorite, but there's other ones as well, like prairie blazing star. It's like one of those hot spot plants that, people love to see, and if you're out actually in native habitat, it's always covered in pollinators, which is great.
My favorite is, right?
What is that?
Black-eyed Susan.
Black-eyed Susan, yeah. Stuart likes black-eyed Susans. Rattlesnake master, another weird name plant, but pollinators love it.
Gamma grass.
Yeah, it's great
grass.
to have. Yeah, it's great to have native grasses as well. Little blue stem, gamma grass, big blue stem.
And why? What are the reasons you would select the grasses that you would to benefit quail?
Yeah, so a lot of the times with our native bunch grasses, as the name suggests, bunch grasses, it forms in clumps, and so on the landscape, it's easier for quail and their chicks to maneuver. So it's not like a thick forming grass like you think of Bermuda or Bahia, which are non-native grasses, right? But also the kind of last year's bunch grasses or the thatch, they'll go and nest in that as well. They'll use that as nesting material. And they'll also eat some of the seeds off of the native bunch grasses. So all around, good cover for them, nesting habitat, and then maneuverability throughout the habitat.
So these plants you're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
They're not plants you can just go to Lowe's or Home Depot or Number One to buy, right?
Not usually. Some of the more kind of, I would say, popular plants like black-eyed Susan, purple coneflower, you can typically buy those from a big box store. You just have to be careful because sometimes they're treated with pesticides, which is a big thing, right? And sometimes they're cultivars. But we do have a lot of nice native nurseries in Arkansas now where you can go and buy native plants kind of throughout the year, really. They have a pretty good selection of plants like flowers, grasses, and shrubs and trees that benefit Arkansas native species.
Yeah. Can you think of the name of a couple of those places?
Yeah. So at Pollinator Palooza, we're going to have Pine Ridge Gardens, which is based out of Pope County or Yell County. I think they're right on the line there. And then we'll also have a nursery called Native Sun Nursery. They're based out of Jefferson County, which Pine Bluff area. So anybody in Pine Bluff that wants to buy native plants, there you go. But we have Grand Prairie Nursery as well. That's central Arkansas. And there's a whole list of native plant nurseries that have been popping up across Arkansas, which is great.
So Access School here has greenhouses and whatever. I think I drove by Mississippi. If they're having a plant sale, is that something they might have? Or
they may. I don't know necessarily who they work with, if they work with a native plant vendor or if they're growing native plants in their nursery. Audubon, that's off of Springer Road, they do a plant sale twice a year, and they work with native nurseries as well, and they grow their own.
I know they did a demonstration project a couple of years ago at a place not too far from the airport, where they have a solar farm and all that, and they've got all that stuff there. Yeah. I don't know how quail and solar get along, but I would not think, it would shelter them from predators above them,
Yeah, I think for the most part with solar farms, they're helping pollinators as best they can, in those instances.
So give the date for our...
Yeah, Pollinator Palooza, Saturday, June 12th. Starts at 9, ends at 1. Anyone's free to come. It's a free event, and it'll be fun.
All right, we're going to talk with Neil from Saracen when we come back from the break, and we're going to talk more with you guys, too. So stay with us. Back in a moment.
Down south, a handshake means something, and we let our actions do the talking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is rooted in Southern tradition and grit. Southern-born and raised and Arkansas-based, Brad Hendricks is named a Mid-South super lawyer year after year. So for car and big truck wrecks, medical malpractice, wrongful death, bankruptcy, and Social Security claims, his law firm produces results. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Southern roots, serious results.
This is Anthony Lucas, here to tell you about my favorite spot in Little Rock, Corky's. Sure, Corky's may look all ribs and barbecue on the outside, but did you know Corky's was also nominated for Central Arkansas's best catfish? And don't get me started on their chicken, shrimp, and nachos.
Those Big Joe burgers, Anthony.
Big Joe, when did you get here?
You really stealing my thunder, Anthony. Corky's is my place.
No way you love Corky's like me, Joe.
Talk to me when you have your own menu item, Lucas.
Corky's ribs and barbecue.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 501-600-2763. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 501-600-2763. That's 501-600-2763.
This is Trey Johnson with HJ Trailer Sales. Spring is here, and y'all have made us the #1 truck bed dealer in the state. We want to thank you for your support and business. If you're looking for the best customer service from folks that can handle any type of trailer and take care of you after the sale, with hometown service, it's HJ Trailer Sales. Our team will handle all your service and warranty needs. See what great customer service looks like at HJ Trailer Sales on Albert Pike in Hot Springs, or check us out on Facebook.
Razorback Foundation members, it's time to renew your membership. Annual Fund Pledge renewals are now open and due March 31st. Renew now by visiting RazorbackFoundation.com or text RENEW to 479-349-4313. Be part of the tradition for the new era of Razorback football under Coach Silverfield. Renew your Razorback Foundation membership today. Text RENEW to 479-349-4313. Go Hogs!
Hi, this is Quinn Grover. When you need expert health care, UAMS Health is here for you. From cancer and heart care to neurology, obstetrics, orthopedics, and more, UAMS Health provides advanced care across a wide range of specialties, backed by research, innovation, education, and a commitment to improving lives. That's care you can trust. From UAMS Health, the official orthopedics and sports medicine provider for Razorback Athletics. For appointments, call 501-686-8000.
If you're having an event or starting on a construction project, you can't forget sanitation. Make Arkansas Portable Toilets part of the plan. They offer a complete line of portable sanitation products for events large or small, and for the construction industry. Their inventory includes hand wash stations, handicap-accessible restrooms, and luxurious air-conditioned restroom trailers, as well as roll-off dumpsters of all sizes. Arkansas Portable Toilets has the finest in the market, and they're so easy to work with. Arkansas Portable Toilets, 501-406-0456.
Time now to talk with our good friend Neil Atkinson at Saracen Casino Resort down in Pine Bluff. Neil, I don't know if I can say it's a slow time of the year, but slower anyway.
Yeah, it's a little bit slower, and all of the action is spread across multiple sports. Basketball, baseball, hockey, NASCAR, soccer, tennis, French Open. It's just not one big event has all the sports in play. It's just like everything is going on at the same time, and it's the summertime, so we're in all of our summer sports and wrapping up our winter sports with the NBA and the hockey league.
When's the NBA finals start? Thursday?
They will start on Wednesday, and game one is going to be at San Antonio. San Antonio's a 4.5 point favorite. The over and under is 218.5. This should be an exciting NBA finals. Make sure you check out that promo tab because we have a 3-point palooza for game one. That means if you bet $30 or more on any pre-match money line straight bet for game one, every 3 points scored in the game, you'll score up to $30 in free bets. You'll get $3 for each one that's made during the game. All you got to do is opt in. You know you're going to bet the NBA finals anyway. Most people like to bet the money lines when the line is close. So there you go, and that's a great one to take advantage of this week.
Where do people find you?
Hey, you go to betsaracen.com on the web, or from your phone, you just go to that app store, go hit that registration button once you download the app, and enter that information. Once you make your first deposit, you'll be in action. Like I said, everybody always check that promo page every day. For instance, in addition to the 3-point palooza on Wednesday, we've got a daily any sport 25% profit boost on any 3-leg parlay. And we've even got one special for softball. Unfortunately, the ladies are out of it, but the Women's College World Series going, so we've got that. However, it looks like as of right now, Little Rock will be going to Troy, Alabama instead of Gainesville, Georgia. Right now, top of the 8th, Troy is 7-2 over Florida. Little Rock awaits the winner of that particular one. We're going to be rooting for them and look for us to have the lines up as soon as they release them tomorrow, and look for Double R special props on the Little Rock players this week. Good luck, everybody, and go Trojan.
All right, thanks, Neil. I tell you what, Yogi Berra, he didn't gamble, but I'll tell you what, he said it ain't over and it's over, and baseball is not over till it's over.
And neither is Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors, and we're back with Stuart Smith and Morgan Metter of the Big Rock chapter of Quail Forever. And we've been talking all things quail and related to quail. And one of the questions I had, we talked a little bit about, we touched on, insecticides, pesticides. And, of course, all that stuff is used agriculturally and other ways, commercially and residentially. And that stuff has an effect on everything downstream on the food chain.
Yeah, it does. And I think to some extent people don't realize the broad-scale impact it can have, especially on what I want to call non-target species. So if you go to sometimes a big box store, it'll say if it's been treated with an insecticide or pesticide. And you can see, you can do a little bit of research on that to see, okay, what is it meant to kill, right? Mm-hmm. But sometimes they don't really go into the non-targets. But if you buy a plant that's been treated with any type of insecticide, pesticide, you could potentially kill some of the pollinators that you're wanting in your yard and you're wanting to save, like our native bees and butterflies. And, that has a direct impact on the rest of the habitat, right? Because they're the ones that are pollinating the plants, and the plants are the bottom of the food chain, and they're the ones that are attracting the pollinators. They have the seeds, and they attract other insects that little chicks depend on to grow, to get all that protein, to, help build their feathers and everything else. So there's a lot that you just don't know until you know, right?
It's the most amazing thing to me that deer, a family of deer, can live in a patch of brush, between 3 houses.
Yes.
A quail is a 6-ounce little bird that requires everything to be just right.
Specific. Yeah. They're not generalists like deer. You don't see them typically in these urban areas, right? They just have not adapted to that landscape. They need brooder and cover, so that's our flowers, and that's some of our native grasses, right? And they need escape cover, which a lot of time that's the limiting factor, so shrubby cover on the landscape, and they need nesting cover as well. So we need all that in a spot together that the quail can easily maneuver, so they're not having to go over to another neighbor's house to fulfill their life cycle.
So a lot of this information you're giving us, plants, names, and et cetera, can we find that on your website, or how do we go about getting that?
Yeah, so if you want to learn more, it's great to, follow us on Facebook. So Quail Forever in Arkansas, follow us on Instagram. But you can also reach out to one of our biologists. We have, I want to say now, 7 or 8 farm bill biologists across the state. And that's their whole job, is to talk to private landowners and help them improve their property for upland wildlife.
So you mentioned earlier that funds raised in Arkansas stay in Arkansas for Arkansas projects. What's the application process for a project, and how are those ranked or evaluated to decide which one get some help and which ones might not?
So one of the things that I know Morgan and her peers do is help private landowners get enrolled in all these, and Morgan can be more specific about CRP and EQIP and all these other funds that are available. Speaking of CRP, I was recently in Washington to talk to different senators about the farm bill that's coming up, hopefully with the Senate vote in June. I talked to Senator Bozeman's office personnel about the importance of it. We haven't had a new farm bill done since 2018, so it's just been extended. It's supposed to be every 5 years. The other bad part about the farm bill as it stands right now is there's been no additional monies put towards CRP since 2005. So those funds that are there for our farmers to use, if they've got, some land that's just not farmable, but they can get reimbursed for. But sometimes they look at the funds, it hadn't been since 2005, and they're like, I don't know if it's worth it, right?
As far as not being enough to be worth it, or just money not being there?
It's not worth it money-wise for them. So
how much per acre does CRP pay?
That's based off the soil rental rate as well, and that's determined, I don't know if it's every year or every other year. So it kind of just depends on which county. I'm not as familiar with CRP. That's more of a delta, aspect. And when I was a farm bill, I worked in central Arkansas. I had a little bit of delta, not much. But we have, as Stuart mentioned, EQIP. These are all under the Natural Resource Conservation Services, so NRCS and FSA, Farm Service Agency. And so those are the programs that are helping landowners put habitat back on the ground financially.
And you don't have to have a set number of acreage.
No. You
just tell me if I'm being ignorant, but most of the CRP that I see is pine plantations.
What is CRP?
Conservation Reserve Program.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of that, I think, historically they put it into pine plantations. And, for quail, not great, especially if you're planting tight together. There's nothing growing in the understory, right? But now we're trying to, in our CRP lands, we have a biologist over there, and he's trying to say, hey, maybe we should plant this native wildflowers, native grasses, and let's do prescribed fire.
All right, let's turn our attention to how do I join Quail Forever?
You can get in touch with us here at Big Rock, and there's a membership fee or application, right? And you get, I think there's some kind of goodie that Quail Forever will send you, a knife or a backpack. I don't know what this month's goodie is.
I got it in the mail today. And I need to renew my membership too, by the way.
Okay.
Hey, so what I get for membership?
Well, you get... you put me on. You get to help Habitat there.
Okay.
You will get a magazine from us. I think there's I want to say there's 5 magazines
and very nice.
and a calendar, and you get whatever goodie that we're sending out. And then you also will be able to go to your banquet. You won't have to buy another membership at the banquet. You could go there, just have to pay for your meal there.
Oh, wow.
Unless you come and talk to me, Ray, and then I'll get your meal comp for
I'm
you.
not worried about you comping my meal. I'm worried about helping Quail Forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the classic images of the South, and I've actually seen this, as a male Bob White on top of a fence post, thrusting that chest out and just letting
singing.
it rip. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like it. And that is the song of the South. If you've never heard that, and unfortunately the chances of hearing that are greatly diminished from when Ray and I and Stuart, were much younger, but it's still around, and that's
It's
what we're
coming
working
back,
on.
yeah.
And when you get your license plate renewed, you can get a
Quail Forever license plate. In fact, we are in the process now of actually determining if we're going to get a second version of the Quail Forever license plate. So that's all in its infancy. We don't know if we're going to get it or when we're going to get it, but we're working on it.
Stuart Smith, Oregon Metro, always a pleasure. Hey, as I said at the beginning, y'all are one of my favorite organizations. The work you do is fantastic.
Don't forget Pollinator Palooza Saturday, June 13th, and there is a Habitat After Hours on Friday night at the same location.
All right, back in a moment.
Take it from Arkansas greats Joe Klein and Pat Bradley.
The big national sports apps are now in Arkansas, taking over Oaklawn and Bentley, which are no longer local.
Making Bet Saracen the only real local app.
And still Arkansans' fan fave.
Plus, Bet Saracen is still the official sports betting app of many of the state's colleges and universities.
Bet Saracen, built by Arkansans for Arkansans.
Bet with Arkansans. Bet with Bet Saracen.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
This is the Pigskin Preacher, bringing you the word. The recent death of Ted Turner reminds us of the outsized influence the mouth of the South had on America and the world. Turner essentially invented 24-hour news, owned the Atlanta Braves and Hawks, and became one of the biggest landowners and conservationists in U.S. history. He also married Jane Fonda, which inspired the late Louis Grizzard's great line, "Who introduced these two? Ho Chi Minh?" The next time you feel snowed under by the endless news loop, raise a glass to Captain Courageous. Double B's has 34 locations across Arkansas with friendly folks, ATMs for your convenience, and a dazzling array of delectable noshes and drinks. That's because Double B's is where you gas it, grab it, and go. That's Double B's.
Feeling like a family getaway, but don't want to go too far? Need a true adventure, but don't want to spend too much? Want a ton of stuff to do that's all in the same place? Welcome to Arkansas State Parks, where in a couple hours drive, you can change your scenery and your state of mind. With active adventures or just gorgeous views where you can catch your breath, we have 52 state parks to choose from. Plan your getaway at ArkansasStateParks.com. Brought to you by this station and the Arkansas Broadcasters Association.
25% of men over 40 have low testosterone, y'all. We're talking low energy, low sex drive, low motivation. Some of those guys barely recognize themselves. Here's the beauty of it. 100% of the guys I'm talking about, they can get it all back. They can feel like themselves again with the help of Low T Center. Low T Center is the original TRT clinic. Been changing lives since 2009. Look, they can help you get your energy back, focus back, your sex drive back. They even work with most major insurance providers. So head on down to FixMyLowT.com to book your free T-test today. That's FixMyLowT.com.
At Capital Technology Group, we make your technology our priority. Our team of experts can become your outsourced IT department, solving problems even before you know about them. We provide and maintain everything from servers and network infrastructure to printers and digital copiers. As a family business with over 80 years of history in Little Rock, you can trust Capital Technology Group to be your business technology partner. If you're ready to get your IT in order, visit captg.com and sign up for a free consultation.
Have questions about retirement, investments, or your money? Call our financial hotline. Dial 501-381-5228 and leave a voicemail with your specific financial question, and our experts will answer it on the Get Ready for the Future show Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Get your financial questions answered by the pros. 501-381-5228. Call now. Securities offered through LPL Financial member FINRA SIPC. Investment advice offered through Independent Advisor Alliance. Independent Advisor Alliance and Genwealth Financial Advisors are separate entities from LPL Financial.
Shipments of spring and summer fashions are arriving at Bell & Sword. That means swimwear from Saks, Peter Millar golf wear and shirts, Johnny O's store within a store. Be sure to check out the Faraday line and Martin Dingman shoes and leather goods. So hurry in for a great value on quality men's clothing at Bell & Sword for your spring and summer items, and you'll look fantastic. Bell & Sword, 1011 Oak Street in downtown Conway on Facebook and Instagram.
And we're back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. We've been talking quail and pollinators. Now we're going to take a little trip to the water up in North Arkansas with our good friend Jackson Butt, a fishing guide on Kings River and other places. And Jackson, we were up there this weekend for the smallmouth shootout, and it was rough. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. No, thank y'all for coming out and supporting. Yeah, we had a little bit of high water, a little bit of stain in the water, especially north of 62 Bridge. Osage Creek was pumping in a lot of chocolate milk there. But you know, on a day with hard fishing, all you need is one to get the W.
Well, you know, we went out there. And they were saying, yeah, the heavy hitters all went down below 62 Bridge. And I'm thinking, well, they ain't going to be heavy hitting today if that's what they did.
Yeah, I mean, tournaments are tough sometimes. And there were two fish that were bigger than the fish that won the big fish of the tournament that flopped out of measuring boards back into the water.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker when they're hard to come by like that too.
Yeah. So, but it was, but yeah, I mean, the fish, I mean, the fish were there. We needed the weather. The weather was nice. We still had a good time, had a good party, raised a lot of money for Mayfly Project. So, which is the point. So, mission accomplished, and we really appreciate everyone who came out.
And that's like the big outside fundraising event for the Mayfly Project. Tell us a little bit about the Mayfly Project while we're on that.
The Mayfly Project is a 501c3 nonprofit. We do mentoring with foster youth and use fly fishing as a catalyst to do that. So we get these kids out for 5 outings a year. We go to different rivers. We go after different species, so they learn how to do things on their own. Also, we learn about the rivers and the creeks, the critters underneath the rocks, the trees, and the critters above ground too. And the last outing, we go out and fish on Dry Run Creek out by Norfolk. And it's just a really big time, but, all these things taking folks out, and gas, food, rods, reels, insurance, everything like that. We need money to make it go. And the smallmouth shootout's our biggest fundraiser year for the Northwest Arkansas Mayfly Project.
What river were you on?
Kings River.
Kings.
Okay. Yeah. Jackson, have you ever watched like a basketball game or a football game where one team is just getting the daylights beat out of it, and by about midway through the third quarter, the shoulders slump and the body language gets really dark, and they just kind of give up and quit trying?
Yeah.
That's the way it was for me about 4 hours into the smallmouth bass.
Well, an interesting side fact, before I was fish guiding, I was an audio engineer, and I mean, I still do some audio engineering, but I was the audio engineer at Bud Walton Arena for 5 years for all the Arkansas Razorback games.
Cool. So, you're one of the things that I really appreciate talking to you about is you're really a thinking man's angler. And so when I'm out on the Kings and I'm looking at this mud line coming down toward past Rockhouse Creek, and I'm looking at, and that kind of gives you a clue as to just how much silt is in the water. We had a discussion about this earlier. What do the bigger fish just hunker down, or do they migrate up to get to cleaner water, or how do they ride that out?
Well, I mean, it's really kind of a toss-up, and especially with the time of year, it's also a kind of toss-up. This is really heading into our first week of hot weather. So the temperature, the smallmouth have come out of post-spawn where a lot of them are, moving slow, not really chasing, not really hitting big stuff, and they're getting back into their summer pattern, a little higher water temperature and needing to eat more. And so with that higher water temperature, they have to, cold-blooded animal, they got to eat a little bit more, so it doesn't matter if it's muddy or not. But the problem is, I mean, you've got to get it closer to them. They're visual hunters and they can't see it, so they've got to use their lateral line and feel the vibration or see the profile of it, and getting in proximity to a fish where it can feel or see the profile of your fly in those conditions is harder. And, when I have to go out and guide in those conditions, most of the time you're throwing towards the riparian bank where the forest meets the river. You're not throwing at the gravel bar, you're throwing where all the trees and rocks and cover is. But on those days where it's big and high and hard like that, you're moving fast, like those eddies are moving fast. It's getting lost in there, and there could be fish in there, but it's hard for them to see or feel or tell what you're doing. So a lot of times you're fishing inside corners and you're fishing eddy lines on the inside corner of a turn, which is not somewhere you'd normally fish because there's not a bunch of cover there. But for a fish in higher water when it's swift, that's one of the it feels like cover to them because there's 4 or 5 feet of muddy water over the top of their head, so they feel secure to be there and they don't need a rocky bottom. And so I know that the big fish of the tournament was caught on an inside corner eddy line. So you kind of fishing where you would normally completely ignore, but it's different conditions.
That is the best explanation I've ever heard in the 12 years we've had this show about.
Yeah, it is, and that was. And I've got
I'm serious. I'm complimenting you.
A follow-up question is, like,
thank you.
Like my partner and I fished from Rockhouse Creek upstream to about a mile or so, and I'm not real, familiar with that water. But what I could see of it, it looks like it's got a very steep gradient. It looks like we were fishing kind of in a narrow canyon. And so I'm thinking, water's high, water's fast. Do I fish where I would expect fish to be ordinarily, or do I go to the bank where, where I would ordinarily be high and dry?
Yeah, and yeah. So speaking of high and dry, if you go down a river and you look towards an inside corner, and especially if there's like a kind of short gravel bar and into a cut bank, you'll see where sand has piled up around that inside corner up against a cut bank. Those areas where the sand piles up, that's because those are the areas where bait fish, crawdads, things, that's where they kind of wash up or where they can operate because there's not just 8 miles an hour of current ripping through. And so it's not that there's always fish in those places, but if there's a fish in that place that's eating and you get a fly or something in there, you've at least got a chance of them seeing it, reacting to it, and being there. And also because it's slower than the high water that's just really difficult to fish, you just have more time to control your fly in a zone where you have a chance. But the difference between fishing the kings at 6.25 to 8 feet is, you have to hit all those little inside corners. You have to hit all those offside sand eddies. And if you hit 50 of them, you're going to get a fish. And I've had days with folks on the boat where we've had really great days with water that color, but it's more hit or miss when it's like that. It's either everything's going to hit everything, or it's going to be a grind out. And another thing I was surprised about normally in fly fishing.
Hey, Jackson, we're going to take us a hard break here. We'll come back. Hold your thought.
Yeah.
We'll be back for the last segment on Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors.
Down south, a handshake means something, and we let our actions do the talking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is rooted in Southern tradition and grit. Southern born and raised and Arkansas-based, Brad Hendricks is named a Mid-South Super Lawyer year after year. So for car and big truck wrecks, medical malpractice, wrongful death, bankruptcy, and Social Security claims, his law firm produces results. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Southern roots, serious results.
Gwatney Buick GMC is ready to knock sales out of the park in May with the Pennies Playoff Sales Event.
Fouled off.
And the competition's crying foul because this month Gwatney's pricing is not factory authorized. Coming in with a heavy hitter, it's the 2026 Sierra 1500 at just 2.9% for 72 months and no payments until Labor Day. Plus, the bases are loaded with Buicks. Encore, Envista, Envision, and Enclave. All available at just 0.9%. Take a swing at GMC Terrain at just $279 per month. Or slide into home plate in a 2026 GMC Canyon two-wheel drive elevation at just $249 per month. Call 501-945-4444. It's the Pennies Playoff Sales Event at Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. All offers with approved credit. Terrain and Canyon are low mileages. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Joe Klein, former Razorback and owner of Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
And I'm Anthony Lucas, also a proud former Razorback and Corky's Barbecue regular customer.
We may represent different sports in different decades, but all generations of hogs agree.
Corky's is the only place to get the most delicious ribs and barbecue at a winning price.
So stop into Corky's now and every day for never-ending specials.
Corky's,
where hogs come home, baby.
Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
Shipments of spring and summer fashions are arriving at Bell & Sword. That means swimwear from Saks, Peter Noir golf wear and shirts, Johnny O's store within a store. Be sure to check out the Faraday line and Martin Dingman shoes and leather goods. So hurry in for a great value on quality men's clothing at Bell & Sword for your spring and summer items, and you'll look fantastic. Bell & Sword, 1011 Oak Street in downtown Conway on Facebook and Instagram.
Attention. If you suffer from consistent pain in your joints caused by arthritis, overuse, or injury, you may be a candidate for a revolutionary therapy that could revitalize damaged tissue. This approach can provide long-lasting relief from pain in your knees, shoulders, hips, and other joints with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To find out if you're a viable candidate, you may request a free consultation from QC Kinetics by calling 501-600-2763. Instead of masking the symptoms, it goes to the root of the problem to resolve it at its source. Already used by thousands of satisfied patients nationwide, this joint pain therapy is available right now to the public, but only for qualified candidates. Again, to find out if you're a viable candidate for this therapy, you may request a free consultation by calling QC Kinetics at 501-600-2763. That's 501-600-2763.
Around here, reputation matters. That's why homeowners and business owners turn to the professionals at CertaPro Painters for their painting projects. From detailed residential painting to professionally managed commercial projects, our crews deliver craftsmanship that protects your investment and enhances curb appeal. Spring weather won't last forever, and neither will the open slots on the schedule. If painting is on your list this year, now's the time. Call CertaPro Painters or visit CertaPro.com and reserve your spring project today. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro Painters, that's painting happy.
We're back with the final edition of Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors this week. We're here Monday night, 7 to 8 o'clock on 103.7 The Buzz. Ray Tucker along with Brian Hendricks. Your paper, by the way, had a nice piece on the Mulberry River today. I don't know if that's a series or whatever.
Yeah, there's so many great streams in Arkansas. The Mulberry is one of them, an underrated smallmouth stream, but we're talking with Jackson Butt, who's a guide on the Kings River and I guess on others too. One of the great fishermen, but, to pick up on a conversation where we left off, one thing I was going to ask you is, when water is high and muddy and fast like that, do smallmouths feed, or are you just lucky enough every now and then to get something, to get a reaction bite?
I mean, it's a real toss-up. I've had really incredible days with people when it's like that, and then you have hard grind out days, and I think the difference is we're spoiled with really clear water, which has its own challenges that fish can see too well. And so if we get a follow or a short strike, when it's clear, you get to see it, and you don't see that when it's muddy. So, even on a hard day, you don't know how many times an 18-inch smallmouth followed you to the boat.
Right.
So I was surprised it was as bad as it was. I knew the people below 62 were going to have a harder time. I really felt like somebody who floated the Rock House to Trigger Gap, or a couple of people did Rock House to the farm. I felt people should have caught more fish. So I think also it was just I think it was between the water and people not being able to see feedback, and then also it just being a slow day. And if you go out fishing on the Kings 5 days, you can catch, 100 one day, and then 25 the next, and then 2 the next, and then 50 the next. I mean, it can be very, very fickle, and sometimes they shut down, and and then there's other times where they'll feed at night once or twice, and they might only feed once during the day. And if you're not right on top of them, then you miss the bite window. So, I guess the perpetual lesson is, well, you just got to keep your hook in the water.
Jackson, how do our listeners get in touch with you?
I've got my website, kingsriverguide.com. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Kings River Guide. My phone number's up on there, and they can give me a holler, and we can go fishing. Water's high right now, so I'm heading out tomorrow in the jet boat. But normally, by this time, I'm doing float trips and wade trips more so. But I'll be mostly wade fishing for smallmouth through the summer, and then I get out after a couple of other things, but some I don't. You have to give me a call about those.
One of the things that happened to us up above Rock House was it started to clear up. The water started to fall out. The gar started hitting stuff on the surface. We started seeing some smallmouths hit around on by the banks, and we thought, oh, man, we hit it just right. It's going to turn on, man. We're going to do good. And then it came up about 6 inches, just like that. I don't know. I guess rain fell up above that watershed in the nighttime, but we watched it rise up and get muddy again, and it was like, we're done. We're cooked.
Let me guess, you were fishing with Rusty Pruitt.
I was fishing with Rusty.
I know that.
And we are a good team together, and he caught our only fish. It was a 9-inch smallmouth, and we felt very grateful to even get that.
I got in between checking folks in from the one fly and getting the sound of my drum set up for the party afterwards. I had 1 hour to go fish for a little bit by the river, and I fished in around the input at Kings River, and I caught 1 4.5-inch smallmouth, 2 long ear, and I probably lost another 10-inch smallmouth. So, I felt that when I went down there and I was kind of trying some tricks in some spots where I know fish hang out, and it was tough for me. I knew it was going to be tough for other folks.
So when you're, what are you looking forward to? As things kind of clear up, we get a little less rain. I guess you probably start getting excited.
Well, I mean, it's going to be hot, and I don't like being hot, and I like wade fishing, and it's really easy to be not hot when you're standing waist deep in the water all the time. So now that it's hot, I'm very much looking forward to be doing wade fishing so that I'm not just sweating in a boat all day. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, usually as the water gets a little bit lower and clearer, the top water bite is going to get better. I think there's an old Democrat Gazette article, I think maybe by Flip, where he's talking, J.D. Fletcher and Jeff Fletcher, legends on the Kings River. We're talking about, fishing in the summer with buzz baits. And I do, I'm doing fly rod, but I love throwing a spook or a buzz bait. And then on top water for fly rod, I really like a wiggle minnow a lot, and a pole dancer. And those two do really well on top water. So I'm looking forward to wading around the wading around the Kings and catching bass on top.
We're done.
Jackson, but you're our kind of guy.
Real quick, Jackson, how do people get in touch with you again before we go?
They can holler at my cell phone, 479-409-9603. All my contact info is on my website, kingsriverguide.com. I'm on Instagram as Kings River Guide, and they can get at me through any one of those avenues.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. We've been with Jackson Butt, Stuart Smith, and Morgan Metter. Join us next week. We'll be back.